Yeah, so Faller Financial started as I was mentioning the advisory side. So I would basically source loans for different institutional buyers and sellers. Um, I would do maybe 50 transactions a year, sometimes more. Volume tended to be in the 20 million or so of unpaid principal balance range initially starting out, and then grew that to closer to 100 million a year. Um, and a lot of that was with the same institutions. I mean, it might have been with the same banks. I'd bring the deals because I would know the term buy box. I'll just explain briefly what that means to me, and some folks may say, "Oh, I know what the buy box is," but
we studied that at length last week.
Yeah,
yeah. Go ahead.
So just really important. It's just kind of like what's in your wheelhouse as far as what you're looking to buy. And so I knew that so granularly for the buyers in my network. When I would find deals and bring it to them, I'd say, okay, I know you need maximum this LTV, minimum this credit, pay history looks like X. If there's a modification as to fit this criteria or bankruptcy, I would just know exactly what I was placing with the right people. But that's what it was. Is I never really loved the term broker because there was sort of it was kind of used in a pejorative, like it was a bad thing.
Right.
And there's good brokers and there are bad brokers, just like there are good attorneys and bad attorneys, and right on down the line. But I started to think of myself as more of an advisor, a loan sale advisor, because that's what I was. I would advise client. I would go so far as to say, like, look, I'm bringing you this deal. This is where the loans are serviced. This is where the collateral is held. I think the condition, based on the conversations I've had about it, is that the collateral is in this kind of condition. There's going to be some curative work involved, because I'd ask these questions. Mm-hmm. And then I'd bring the deal and I'd say, the price talk, even though I don't know exactly where it's going to trade, it seems to be in this range, which is where you're a buyer. And so I'm working on the data tape. I'm going to send that over as soon as I get some more information that's needed for you. So you can see the difference between that and somebody that gets a data tape that doesn't have half the information that you need, and they just forward it along. And, yep. they say, my fee is 2%. So I was at the other end of that spectrum, where you call it full service or whatever, but it's just how I wanted. I was like a principal buyer, and the term principal buyer just means that you are the buyer, you are the end user, you are the buyer. So yep. So I liked the fact that I started to get this reputation of, this is the loan sale advisor that acts like a principal buyer. Mm-hmm. And I just wasn't the one stroking the check at the end of the day. It was the hedge fund or the bank. And so the logical transition from there was a couple years back, or a few years back, to start buying myself. And so I was kind of eating my own cooking, if you will. And then I just started to acquire loans, and because I was like, I've got this, like, this is what I do. It's and I've generated fee income from being successful at what I was doing. And now I'm going to build a money machine. Mm-hmm. My personal buy box is, I like performing notes. I think that there's a great argument for non-performing notes as well. But I'm more focused on sort of passive income, mailbox money. And so I'm building this money machine where I'm just bringing in cash flow. And that's what I do with Buffalo Park. And then the third thing I will say is I started a fund, actually a few funds. We're on the fourth one now, where I've raised outside capital, because I had my own capital, my family capital, my wife and myself. And so we deployed that, but everybody has finite resources. I brought in outside capital. And so I started what's called the 4F funds. And that the 4F is just faster financial freedom and fulfillment.
Love it.
So yeah. And so that's what we've done is we've built that up exponentially over the last year, and even over the last quarter. And we've got a lot of momentum with that. We did a press release some time ago, but I don't want to get us off on like the fund and this and that, but that's how it's evolved. And it's been a great evolution for us.